there's still been no relief for the American people. They still are at a gridlock on another and I used stimulus in quotes because really it's just they're giving stuff away to the banks while throwing us over the boat once again.
Yeah, the absolute minimum they can give us to not get their heads chopped off is where we're at right now.
Well, what do you think's going to happen in the next one? Because I actually have an update here today that I was going to share with us. But what do you think's going to happen in the next one?
I mean, I would say compromise is, okay, they're going to do another $1,200.
Okay.
They're going to chop the 600 in half. So there's going to be another 300 on top of the unemployment. And other than that, it's going to be the same thing and a different kind of handout to the wealthy, like a different way, since we sort of complained about the other one and enough people know that the other one was too big of a handout to corporations. They're going to find different corporations, a different way to throw money at their rich friends.
Mm-hmm. So my prediction is a little bit different than yours. I predict that anybody making $50,000 or less a year, they're just going to tell everybody else, go kick that person in the groin. That's my guess. That's what I think the stimulus bill is going to have. Joy, what is your prediction?
That's exactly what I think. I think there's going to be more qualifications needed and absolutely a kick in the nuts.
Right. For sure, more means testing. Yeah. How strong are your nuts?
So check this out. So Trump weighs in executive action as negotiations progress on the next coronavirus stimulus package. So Trump has been saying that he might use some executive orders to put a moratorium on evictions. And he's also saying, which I'll believe that when I see it, he's also saying that he would want to use an executive action to eliminate a tax on payroll, because that's the issue. We would just everybody would be fine if you just rolled back taxes on payroll issues. That's the only reason why we're not thriving right now. It's not because we have a pandemic and people can't work and the government isn't looking out for its people. Which, by the way, there's a handful of things where it's not political what a federal government is for. One of them is when something like a pandemic happens, you take care of your citizens. That's what a federal government is for. So it's so insane. We're the only industrialized country where we're making it out like the government is doing charity by providing for its people. Like, no, this is our money. It's our freaking money. This is your job in a pandemic. People can't work.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think the Democrats aren't doing anything for renters, there's lots of things they could do. They could freeze rent, freeze mortgages, things like every other country has done on earth. But instead, they are putting a fund together to pay lawyers.
Yeah.
Legal. Yeah. So you're going to pay a lawyer to fight your eviction, although without changing the law, you should be fucking evicted.
So here's something else I wanted to point out in here. There was a part where, and this happened last week, and there's still people that will actually defend the Democrats on this. The Republicans said, it was Mnuchin specifically said that we were going to extend things for a week. And it was just sort of a no strings attached, a short term, like, all right, let's just extend the 600 federal for a week while we figure out a long-term solution, which it was just, of course, it was just a BS move to have a further BS move. But the Democrats should have called that and should have said, yes, we're extending it for a week. And because we're not going to leave people out in the cold for a day. So we're extending it for a week while we figure out a long-term bill. And while we're figuring out this long-term bill, we're going to hold your feet to the fire to come up with a decent long-term solution. They didn't do that. They said no to the 600. They were like, it's not a long-term bill, so we're not going to. So now they just made sure that people get as little as absolute possible, because you don't have the Senate, you don't have the White House. You know you're going to need to compromise in the long term. At least get a short-term win and get the best long-term compromise you can. Instead, they said, no, we won't even take the short-term win, and we know we're going to lose in the long term too. And this is by design.
Yeah, well, since this one actually affects regular people directly, this is the one time they're going to stick to their convictions and not compromise all the way through.
It's unbelievable. It's just, and there are still people that make excuses. I mean, I'm at the point now, I think every single person in federal government should just be fired and we should just replace them all. I am at that point. I am so over electoral politics in general. I refuse to even like or retweet anything from a politician because I feel like if we really looked underneath the hood, we would find out there's a ministry of appeasement where their job is to just tweet nice bills to people. Just tweet nice bills out, nice ideas. What could you do with an extra $2,000 a month? That's none of your freaking business. What are you doing to actually make it a reality? That's what I want to know. Don't ask me dumb questions and make me entertain some fantasy like you're actually doing something for the American people.
No, it does completely feel like professional wrestling at this point. You know, like Schumer's breaking a chair over Trump's head once in a while. And, you know, it's just nonsense, though. It's like the performative stuff, tearing up the documents and, you know, the golf clap from Nancy. It's all just show.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your